Welcome. Today is Martin Luther King Day. We're going to be talking about his legacy, and also because it's the beginning of the year, we're going to talk about goals and actually having you achieve them, as opposed to writing them down and then forgetting about them until next year. However, welcome to Leadership and Loyalty Tips for Executives, part of the Full Monty Leadership Series. I'm your host, Doug Barron, founder of Full Monty Leadership. If you're a new listener, thank you for joining us. Strap yourself in. We're about to go full Monty. If you're a regular, then it's a big thank you to you because you are one of the people who's made it possible for us to have 1.5 million downloads and counting, making us the number one podcast for Fortune 500 executives, human resources, family business, and next-gen leadership. Thank you for sharing the show with everybody that you know. Remember, we always need your support, your help in keeping us relevant. So go to iTunes and rate, review, and subscribe to the show. All right, let's get into it. Martin Luther King Day. What an important man. You know, we're talking about leadership. And for me, Martin Luther King is the exemplification of what it means to be a leader. I mean, of course, he made the ultimate sacrifice. I just did an article on it. You can find it on Full Monty Leadership, on my blog there, on the Full Monty Leadership site. But when you think about it, it's fascinating to me when I look at that day and I look at this man who, and many of you have been as part of the show, have heard my story of, that actually Martin Luther King was my inspiration to be a speaker. When I was 10 years old, I walked into the living room and saw my mom crying for no apparent reason to me as she watched the man on TV who was not familiar to me, wasn't a pop star, wasn't somebody famous, and she was crying, and I didn't know why. And when I asked her why, she pointed at the TV set and said, "A great man, he's dead." And I was like, "Who is he?" I had no idea. And of course, later on, I found out it was Martin Luther King. And I guess that day sort of something was awakened within me because I was fascinated by the idea that this man who, for me as a kid living in a ghetto in northern England at the time, a man who literally could have been on the other side of the world as far as I was concerned, was having this power and this impact on my mom was fascinating. And I think it awoke a spark in me about making a difference at a bigger level than my own family or even my own community. And today, when we look around, and, you know, of course we're in a political climate, you know, the lead up to the general election in the US, and a lot of talk about a lot of different things and a lot of rhetoric as well. And, you know, we've even heard people talk about, particularly in a certain party, talking about how racism is over. And, you know, it's like, wow. I mean, if we ever needed Martin Luther King, I think we need Martin Luther King today more than we've ever needed him. We need at least that message. We need that unification. Because for me, Martin Luther King did not talk about civil rights for African Americans. He spoke about civil rights for all of us, for black, white, yellow, green, purple, striped. I mean, whatever it is. And the fulfilling of his message, the fulfilling of his purpose has never been more needed than it is today. So I really want to challenge you to look at what you can do. You know, I'm trying to remember the exact quote, and please forgive me because I know it won't be word for word. But the evil exists because good people do nothing. It's our passivity that allows things to go along. You know, I would say to you and have said to you on many occasions how important it is to listen to your own inner voice and to check yourself and know what's true for you. And yet in a mastermind situation, we know that many minds are far better than one. You want to surround yourself by many minds. But one of the things that I see when we see this upsurgence of racism and bigotry and separation of people from, you know, separating the group, breaking us all apart, making us turn at each other. What I see there is a bunch of people come together And instead of listening to their own inner voice, they listen to one voice. And that voice unites a mob. So the voice of many is, or the thinking of many is always better than the thinking of one. But the voice of one leading a mob is always extremely dangerous. And it's just worth taking the moment to pause, and rather than jumping in and getting behind something that seems like a cause, is this true for you? Is this actually true for you? And whenever we generalize, which is what racism was always about, whenever we generalize, we're always going to be wrong, because nothing is true of everybody in a particular group. There's such greatness there. So I want to remind you to come back to that center and remember this very graphic but great way of understanding humanity. That when you peel everybody's skin off, we're all still human. There is no black, white, yellow, green, purple. We're all the same. And it's therefore, what makes us different is a concept. What makes us different, what makes us say they and this and that is nothing more than images and projections that are put on. So I want to challenge you to look at people, to look at groups as humans. And yeah, there's some shitty humans, but the majority of humans are spectacular. Be careful about generalizing. This is Martin Luther King Day. Let us remember his message. That, as he said, that one day the Jew, the Gentile, the Muslim, the Hindu, and the atheist, that we should all walk in peace together. So that's part one of this particular one. Now I want to bring you to something that I was intending to do as a webinar, and to be honest with you, I simply ran out of time. So I've decided that I would give you the quick overview on this one, because I'm having these conversations with people who are telling me, you know, every year I write goals, Dov, but, you know, a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, a month goes by, and then I don't do them. And and I look back, and maybe I talk to you, Dov, and I look back and look at the goals and realize I haven't done anything. Well, why is that? So I want to help you to do that. I'm going to give you a quick overview on how to make sure that every goal you set, you fulfill. And then when I say every, I mean every, because this process will make you not make ridiculous or redundant goals. So first and foremost, write this down. First and foremost, for a goal to happen, it has to have a start date. Now, obviously, that's not January 1st, because we're past that. I don't care when you pick, but pick a date. It doesn't matter. Pick a date for when it's going to start. Whatever it is. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to lose 30 pounds. I'm going to get in wicked good cardio shape. I'm going to release this product. I'm going to write a book. Whatever it is that you've decided you want to do. I'm going to take that training. I'm going to sign up to get mentoring from this person. I'm going to work with this coach. Whatever it is. Number one, start date. Okay? Now, the next part is a two-part, and it's actually a question, or two questions. So the first question is, am I able, A-B-L-E, am I able to fulfill this goal? See, if you say, I'm going to run a marathon, and you've never run, and you're going to, you want to do that in the next 30 days, and you've never run a marathon, you've never run at all, well, you may not be able yet, okay? You may not be able. And I'm going to come back to able in a minute. So the second question is, am I willing? Because here's the other thing. You may be able, but you may not be willing. I meet people all the time who are completely capable, able of doing the thing, but they're just not willing. They're not willing to give up X or Y in order to get to that goal. And here's the thing. If you're going to achieve something, you're going to have to give up something. So write that down, because you've got to get, that's foundational. For you to get something, you will have to give up something. So you need to look at what you're going to give up, or what you're going to need to give up. So now we go, okay, willing and able. Okay, I'm willing. Am I able? We're coming back to that one now. And the answer to that one may be that you don't have enough information yet. So what information do you need in order to actually fulfill this goal. So you might, coming back to weight loss because it's an easy one. Okay, so yeah, I'm certainly willing. Am I able? Well, I've been on 30 diets. I've never lost weight, or I have, but I've never been able to keep it off. So am I able? Well, I'm able to go on the diet as in to actually do it, but to be successful at it, that's a whole other gig. So here's the question. Do I need more information? Ask yourself, do you need more information? And if you do, what information do you need? What information do you need? And as a sidebar to the need more information, do I need support? So do you need a nutritionalist? Do you need a coach, somebody who can, or a trainer, or somebody who can help you with that? So we've got able, we've got willing, both as question marks. We've got a start time. So starting February 1st, I'm going to do X, whatever X is. Am I able? Well, I think I need a lot more information. Okay. So I've got to get that information in place, if I'm willing to do it, by the start date. Okay, I've got the support system in place. Next piece, commitment. So the commitment is the actual goal itself. So I am committed to losing X amount of weight. I am committed to making X amount of money. I'm committed to making sure that my book is released by X date. I'm committed to writing a chapter per month. What I'm trying to get you to is to get you to be very, very specific. This is vital. Any goal that is vague, you will not achieve, because even if you achieve it, you won't recognize it. So you have to be very, very specific. When you've got it written down, look at it and then read it to somebody else. And ask them to ask you questions about it so you can find out if it's specific enough, okay? So now, as a and B part of that, you need to ask some questions. So if this is my specific goal, whatever it is, writing the book, making so much money, losing the weight, whatever it might be, there's a question you got to ask. Is this goal, this outcome, is it aligned with my purpose? Like, does it actually line up with my purpose? Can I attach it to my purpose? Is it incongruent or congruent with where I'm going, what I'm doing, what my life purpose is about? Now, you may not know what your life purpose is, and that alone will stop you because you will have an internal conflict. This is another reason that so many people fail in their goals. They have an internal conflict about what it is that they want to achieve, because they're like, oh, I don't know, something's off. You've got to know what is your purpose and is this goal in alignment with it. The next part of that is, let's say now, okay, this is the goal, specific, and it is aligned, or you found a way to align it with your purpose. Now you've got to write a list of the positive, impactful consequences. So how will this positively impact you and those you look to serve through your life purpose? By you doing this, so by you losing 30 pounds, just using that as an example again, how will that align with your purpose? And what is the positive impact, the positive consequences of losing that weight on those that you serve, on fulfilling your purpose? Got that? Good. Now, next step is accountability. You need specific accountability. So you're going to have to write yourself specific accountability. And specific accountability is, you can break that down into as many chunks as you like, but make it very specific accountability. So in the case of lose 30 pounds, as the example, that's a big picture. The specific accountability is, I will do it by adding 1 hour of cardio to my workouts per week. I will do it by eating 3 salads a week. I will do it by removing potatoes and rice. All these things. You see how they're specific? Very specific accountability, and you'll need to write those out so you can check through them. I'll do it by getting up earlier every day, or I will go for a walk for 30 minutes after dinner. Specific accountability. Now, here's the thing with this. Very specific accountability, because you've got to know that if you're going to fulfill this, there is zero excuses. This is the way you do the specific accountability. So you allow yourself no excuses. You go, well, I wasn't feeling well that day. Doesn't matter. Well, I woke up late that day. I had a very late night. I was kept late at work. Irrelevant. Zero excuses. And the way you do that is you go to the next step. And the next step is to give yourself very specific consequences. So for every accountability piece that you didn't do, what are the specific consequences for having not done it? Meaning you set those consequences, not what will happen. What are you going to make happen? So you go, okay, I got to clean, let's say you live with other people. I got to clean the toilets. Every time I don't do this piece, which is the end of the week, I didn't eat 3 salads, using the same example. I got to clean the toilet. Doesn't matter whether it's my turn, I'm doing it. I hate cleaning the toilet. Perfect. It needs to be something that will sting. Okay? Specific consequences for each of the accountability pieces. Okay? Now when you look at that and line that all up, and now the last part is, when will I have it done by? So we started off with when will it start, and now at the end we want to, when is it done by? And by the way, if you walk this through in this process, this will actually shift you in so many ways beyond the goal, because the purpose of a goal is not actually to achieve it, it's actually to evolve you. And one of the things that will come out of this is a much higher level of emotional intelligence. Why? Because part of emotional intelligence is self-responsibility, self-accountability, and you'll learn amazing skills. So I'm going to quickly run through it again before we finish up. Am I willing? Am I able? Check both. If I'm able, do I have enough information? Do I have the support system I need? What's the specific commitment? What is the specific goal? Very specific. Is it aligned with your purpose? Is it aligned with what you want to do, who you are? What is the positive consequences of fulfilling this purpose? Write it down. Get a good picture of how it will impact things. What is your specific accountabilities? You break out that big picture into smaller pieces. What are specific accountability? I will do this. I will do that. I will do this. I will do this that often, etc. Remember, zero excuses. Then what are the consequences? So what are the consequences if you do not fulfill those accountability pieces? And give yourself very specific ones. Remember, they got to sting. It's not for anybody else. It's for you to do it to yourself. Result of that will be that you've got an end date. And the result will be that you'll have higher levels of emotional intelligence. So, this is Dov Marin. I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Leadership and Loyalty Tips for Executives. As I said, my name is Dov Marin. I'm the founder of Full Monty Leadership. You want to find out more about me? Get yourself over to fullmontyleadership.com, where I work with organizations and leaders just like you. Until next time, stay curious, my friends. Stay curious.